Okay, welcome back to another episode of Third and 23. I'm your host, Alex, here to talk week 18 of the NFL season. The last week of the NFL season. If you're an NFL fan, you know what that means. A lot of teams sitting starters. Not every game is important. Not every game has playoff implications. And so you got to adjust your bets accordingly. Me personally, I don't like betting games that don't really have anything on the line. Because you don't really know what you're gonna get. You don't know the motivation factor for the players. You put in backups, and you don't really know what you're gonna see. Example, the Ravens yesterday, losing to Pittsburgh. You know, had Tyler Huntley in and some other backups, and things didn't go well, right? For Baltimore, Pittsburgh was actually the favorite because of that, and ended up covering. So congrats if you did that, but that's not a game that I would have ever done. Um, if you tuned into my Saturday video, I gave you guys a Saturday game, though. I did the Texans Colts because that was a playoff like game, winning you're in. I took the Texans on the road. They were a 1 point favorite on the road, and it came down to a drop pass from Mike Goodson. But we got the cover, so we already went ahead and updated our NFL ATS record. And if you're new to the channel, that's from week 12. That's when I started streaming NFL games. So anyways, I got two high stake plays this week. I'm not doing any low stake games. There were a couple other games I thought about doing. I'll talk about it at the end, but decided against it. Once the playoffs come around, I plan on doing every game, so we're gonna put a lot on the line there because it's the NFL playoffs, and we want to get a lot of bets out there and kind of maximize our betting profits that way. So anyways, going into it, Minnesota at Detroit. So this is a game that the Lions, so Dan Campbell, coach for the Lions, has already said that he said early in the week they were going to play their starters. The Lions have a chance to get the 2 seed, right? So you can lock up playoffs, lock up home field in the divisional round if you were able to get that 2 seed. The Vikings technically have a chance to get into the playoffs if they win this game. They get a whole bunch of craziness. They actually got a chance to make the playoffs. Unlikely, but there is that chance. So I'm going into this game with both teams playing their best, sitting nobody that isn't injured, right? So you look at the Lions. Lions are an explosive offense. Jared Goff, I'm not gonna sit here and say I've been the biggest Jared Goff guy out there, but give him his credit. He's playing well this season. You got Amon-Ra St. Brown at wide receiver, who should have made the Pro Bowl. It's kind of crazy he didn't make the Pro Bowl. You got a baller out there at wide out. Jamison Williams is out for this game, but I don't think they're really gonna miss him. You also got Sam Laporta, super rookie at tight end. And then you got on defensively, they had a tough run defense. Where you beat Detroit is through the air. Detroit has a bad secondary, and they've been really gotten cooked. They got barbecued through the air this season. But that's not. But the Vikings, to me, aren't a team that's really going to take that much advantage of that because, yes, you got Justin Jefferson and these other guys. But, man, you got Nick Mullins at quarterback, and I just don't think that, he's somebody who is going to, take advantage of this Detroit secondary and to the point where Detroit might lose this game, right? Another thing to take a note of, their injuries are taking a toll, right? This is throughout the season, right? Losing Kirk Cousins early, losing Justin Jefferson for a lot of time. I think Jordan Addison had missed a game. O-line injuries, running back Alexander Madison, even though he's not really that good. They've been beaten up this year on the offensive side of the ball. And now defensively, going into this game, both their starting corners are out for this game. So now you're really looking at a chance for Detroit to kind of really open it up on these guys. Maybe make a statement and to be ready for the playoffs after what happened, what they think happened, I should say, in the Detroit game where they feel like the officials kind of jobbed them out of a victory against the Cowboys, even though the reality is Cowboys also got jobbed out of a play on a tripping call. So that's how I look at it. Officials got to do better. I mean, I think everybody knows that. If you're an NFL fan, officials got to do better throughout the league. So with all that said, I see this game saying that Detroit's been was Minnesota's got a tough run D, but Detroit's already been able to run the ball against them. Detroit's got explosive offense overall, got explosive passing offense, and they're going to go against a bad pass defense with both starting corners out. To me, this is a no-brainer. If guys are going to be motivated in this game, and I think um, the betting public agrees as the spread has moved from 3 early in the week to 4 now. I mean, I think they agree with me in the sense that I think Detroit is going to win this game. I think they're going to win this game by double digits, but as long as they cover the 4, that's all we care about. But I think Detroit's going to make a statement in this game and show they're ready for the playoffs. So I'm taking Detroit, and I'm laying the 4. And the second high stakes play is going to be Tampa Bay at Carolina. Now this game here, I'm like, man, what's going on here? The first thing that I looked at is the spread in this game has dropped from 5.5 to 3.5. From early in the week to today, and I'm thinking, well, why is that? First off, Carolina's the worst team in the league. Okay, they're coming off a 26-0 shutout to Green Bay. Now you could say, okay, bounce back, because you guys know how it is. NFL teams can bounce back, right? But Tampa Bay's going into this game motivated. Tampa Bay wins. This is easy for Tampa. Tampa wins this game, they win the division, and they're in the playoffs. Tampa loses this game, they're out. They're not going. So Tampa Bay is going into this game with full motivation. Baker Mayfield is, I think he's listed as questionable, but you know he's going to play. But he does have sore ribs. Maybe that's where this line change is coming from, where people are putting money on Carolina. To me, Carolina is a team that, one of the worst team in the league. They've had a terrible offense the entire season because they can't pass the ball. Bryce Young, and again, I'm only saying that for this season. Bryce Young might be different next year, but Bryce Young has been the worst quarterback in the NFL this year. Absolutely terrible. And he doesn't really have anybody to throw to either, other than old Adam Thielen, right? And then Carolina's already locked up the first pick for the Bears. They've already fired their head coach. You know that it's going to be a new era, right? Starting next season with a new head coach. I just like, what's Carolina's motivation in this game, right? To spoil the Bucks party? Like, I don't even know if they even really care about that, because a lot of these guys probably aren't even going to be on the Panthers next season, right? With the new head coach coming in. So I don't see. First off, Tampa's better than Carolina anyway. Carolina can only really run the ball, and the Bucks, when they're healthy, which they are, they're a tough team to run the ball on. So I don't. Yeah, there can be a bounce back for the Panthers, but how much of a bounce back when it comes to points? I'm not saying they're going to get shut out again, but I don't see it. This 5.5 to 3.5 to me is making it easier for me. I don't know how you guys see it out there, but I see Baker Mayfield going to the playoffs. I see Tampa Bay winning this game and covering that 3.5 against a Carolina team that I just don't see have any motivation. I don't know what their motivation is for this game. So I'm gonna go ahead and take Tampa, and I'm gonna lay that 3.5. That's all I got for this week as far as the plays I'm making. 2 high stakes plays though, so we're putting some money down here. Just if you were like looking at the games, I was looking at 2 other games, potentially 3. Jags at Tennessee. I consider these. What I'm going to tell you were 3 low stakes plays that I was considering. Jags at Tennessee. Jags 5.5 point favorite. Actually, has that changed? Let me just. Actually, that's gone all the way down to 3. That's interesting, actually. But the Jags, to me, are the kind of team, because Trevor Lawrence, from what I understand, they think he's going to be a game time call on whether he's not going to play. I think he is going to play because playoffs are on the line for the Jags. And the Jags, when they win the division. But the Jags are the kind of team, they're so up and down. They're the kind of team that would lose to a bad Tennessee team. I just don't trust them. That's why I'm staying away from that game. I was actually thinking about taking the Bears with the 3. Bears are 3-point underdog at Green Bay. I was thinking about doing that game just because the Bears are hot. The Packers got something to play for. They got to win to get into the playoffs. But yeah, if they win, if the Packers win, they get the 7th seed. But I don't know if they're going to win this game. The Bears, they're hot right now. Justin Fields is playing well. that game is going to be a really tough game to uh that's going to be a really tough game to see who comes out on top in that game. So I was like, let me stay away from it. But the Bears +3 did entice me. And then the last game that I thought about doing is Seattle, and this is another one where Seattle could lose this game. Seattle's a 3-point favorite on the road in Arizona, but Arizona. See, this is I thought Arizona. One, they're a bad team. Two, they didn't have. I mean, two, they had the big win against Philly last week. How much more they got in the tank? I don't know if they're gonna have a lot of motivation in this game because they want to stop the Seahawks from potentially making the playoffs. Because Seahawks need to win and Green Bay needs to lose for them to make the playoffs. Do the Cardinal players care that much about whether or not the Seattle makes the playoffs? Man, I don't know about that. So that's something to look at. But I'll say this: the Seahawks' run defense is terrible, and the Cardinals' running offense is elite. So if the Cardinals are motivated, they can pull off that upset at home. So again, staying away from that. So those were some low stakes plays that I considered, but I was like, nah. Let me wait till the playoffs come around, and then we're gonna do all the games in the postseason. So that said, we got these two high stake plays for you: Minnesota at Detroit, taking Detroit laying the 4, and Tampa at Carolina, taking Tampa and laying the 3.5. And if you like the content, please like, follow, subscribe. And you're gonna see my YouTube handle here in a few seconds. Take care.